Welcome, friends, back to Friends and Favorites with me, Marisa Serafini. Today, I have a very good friend of mine, Marielou Mandl. We go way back to our AfterBuzz TV days when we used to be in a house in Encino. We've done after shows together. We even produced our own badass filmmaking podcast together. And then we moved on to cinema makeup school and still continue to be badass producing women there. And then the pandemic hit and we haven't been able to work together since. But we're here now, and she's a content producer extraordinaire, Marielou Mandl. It is so good to see you.
It's so good to see you too. I'm just so glad to see you producing projects again for yourself. Makes me very happy to see.
Thank you. Finally for myself, because I was telling other people, I was like, I've done years of content producing, but it's always been for other people.
Mm-hmm.
And the stuff I do for myself, I can maybe count on one hand, which is really sad.
Yeah.
I've written stuff and then I put that out there, but again, that's like for other people. So, and then not a lot of people even know where to find it or where it is. But like the stuff I do for myself is like unfortunately, it's pretty rare. But you're an amazing content producer. I feel like, we actually haven't seen each other in years, but I feel like I see you every single day because your stuff constantly pops up on my Instagram feeds, on my Twitter feeds. You're everywhere. So
yeah, it's true.
Awesome. Kudos to you.
Show up a lot. That's the key to success.
Yeah, absolutely. My first question, really, because this is Friends and Favorites. We go back years. Like what? I've known you for 10 years now.
I think so.
2013, 2014, around there.
Possibly.
Yeah. So my first real question is there a point where we became more than just like co-hosts doing an after show together or two badass women producing a show together? Is there like a moment or a time where you can think we became just more than that and we became like true friends?
I feel like it was the onset of On the Fly Filmmaking, as it was originally called. And then it was Film Class Podcast, I think is our second title.
Yeah.
Maybe it was the other way around. But we had knew of that we were both producing things. We knew that we vibed. We knew we were co-hosts and we enjoyed talking about things together. But there was I think that's the point where it shifted is you know what? Let's do a project together. Let's do this together. And were we assigned together? No, I feel like we chose to do it together.
Yeah, we did because back then, we did 1.5 million TV shows and what we would call quote unquote at the network vanity projects, which were like one host. It's not covering a television show or a movie. It's an actual self-produced kind of show. And our filmmaking podcast show, On the Fly Filmmaking, it started off as one thing, like guerrilla filmmaking more so, but then the guests we were getting, they were Academy Award winners, Academy Award nominees, high up people, above the line people. And we're like, wait, our content is way more than just guerrilla filmmaking. But that was such an awesome show. And to answer your question, how we chose each other, it was more so the time that we scheduled it every, Wednesday? If I remember correctly. It was earlier in the day. They're like, well, Marisa's around. And I'm like, no, this is awesome stuff. I want to be a part of it because the content is really good. And we just naturally, I was like, no, I'll produce this one. It's fine. And we just kind of went from there.
Yeah. And it was such an easy project to do. It was not easy in the sense that it wasn't a lot of work. We did have to do work to get it. But the way we connected and the way that we flowed together and the way we naturally and intuitively split up duties, that's where it really is at, people. For when you're working with somebody, you want this to be a good relationship. It is a relationship. You have to think about romantic, friend relationships, producing relationships. You have to have a good flow. You have to see eye to eye, and you have to both be willing to do what needs to be done for the benefit of the final product, whether that is your family, your friendship, or your podcast. And yeah,
Yeah.
that if we're talking about friends and favorites, like that is one of my all-time favorite projects of all time.
Yeah, that was so much fun because out of the hundreds of shows I had to produce, that one will be like, no, 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 don't bother me for this hour because this is like my show. And no, it was great. And definitely with the producing partner because you were the host, you're the talent, you're better on camera than I am. But I like to think I'm better behind the scenes. I mean, that's where my place is. And but the thing with us two, we had like this natural flow, like you said, and where you, not to say dropped things, or like I would pick up where you didn't, and then you would do the same for me. And like when you be talking about like say this one scene in a film, I would just naturally find the photos and put it up at the same time you're talking about it. So like we picked each other up here and there
Yeah.
whenever
And
we
that just
needed.
elevates the project, is like if everybody's willing to help everyone else out. Because it was never like you dropped that, I had to pick it up. No, it was like, oh my
Right.
gosh, like,
No.
yes, what a save. Yes, go team. And that we like both understand both sides of that, right? So like I feel like at any point we could have swapped and you could have been on camera, I could have been behind the scenes. And
Mhm.
like while I didn't know what your setup was, like I know how to do things like that. And
Right.
like we would have figured it out. So I loved it. And like the fact that you were uh just always so on, like the conversations, like you could
Mhm.
tell like some of the projects we would do at this station, like you kind of show up, you say things and you're like, okay, and now it's done.
Yeah.
But this one, it's like
Next.
you could tell like that we were both really engaged in it, and like we were learning from it, because like we would be talking about something in a conversation and then like Marisa would bring it up on the screen and it's like, yes, that's the thing we were just talking about.
Mhm.
Just naturally there. And we both like afterwards, I feel like we were always like, wow, like I learned so much. Like we were like students of our guests, we were interested in our guests, we were excited to just do that project.
Right, and it was so cool because we had so many different personalities come in, different talents of different aspects of the filmmaking industry. Because you and I, we know a good amount of everything. I like to think us both
Mhm.
being awesome in the producing aspect. We wear a million hats, but then that also shows the people that we talked to. They had their own specialties when it came to directing, or makeup, or visual effects, or hell, even editing. But they all had their specialties. I was like, I was constantly learning every episode with the talent that we had, and they were awesome people.
Yeah, we were like Academy Award winners and like people
Mhm.
who've done it all, people who were like worked on cult classic movies. Like it was like I was just
It was
really
astounding.
I was pleasantly surprised with the caliber of guests that we could get because of the nature of that show. That like, it was all of the people on set who don't always get the light shine on them,
Yeah.
and we're like,
The
no,
thankless jobs.
I want to know what this was about, like what was that.
Right. And that's the thing, because they didn't have a spotlight on them, we actually gave them a platform to have a voice for those positions that generally don't talk. They don't get to say their positions. And I think that's why they liked us so much, us producing, because you could tell that we were just general people who loved the art of filmmaking and wanted to learn. We came in with this genuineness, ability, and wanting to hear from them and their knowledge, and they really were receptive to that and open to teaching.
Right. And then like part of the reason why like folks like you and I are so good at so many things is that we want to learn. We want to ask questions. We want to see what's done. We want to
Mm.
see who's doing it and how they're doing it, and different people doing the same thing and how they do it. Then we absorb it and then we can break it down into how we execute. So because we've seen so much and we've learned so much from being on sets, being on productions, working together and interviewing people, we just like, you could throw us into any situation, we're going to figure it out.
Yeah, exactly. Because we just swim, or we hit the ground running, whatever idiom that makes sense, where just throw us in the deep end and we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
And I think that's what I liked about you when I first met you. I think a real conversation, I don't know if you remember this, but we were back in the house at AfterBuzz TV, And I think it was before one of your after shows, and I was just like there audio editing, and I was talking to you. I was like, I really love your hair color. It was red.
Oh yeah, I
And
had like the little
I was
red tints
asking
in it.
you all about like how do you get like that particular shade of red? And I had red hair for like the last 2 years. It's not red anymore. But I think that was like the first real conversation I had with you. I was like, okay, Marilou's cool. I like her. I like her vibe. Yeah, and you were another Filipino woman. I was like, yes, let's talk. You're cool already. So yeah,
And I always
easy to
loved
go.
talking to like all the production team at AfterBuzz too, because it did feel a lot like there was the hosts and then there was the production team, and it was very like just two teams that kind of like met somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
But being like a producer myself, I'm like, oh my God, how are we doing this? Whoa, like that. Like, I just want to know, how can I make your job easier? And then how can we just have a good time doing this, right? Because it's like sometimes we would talk for an hour about stuff that like maybe we weren't fully interested in, but
Mhm.
we had to be interested in it. So it's like, what, how can we at least make this a good time?
Right, exactly. That was always if you remember Phil Svitek, that's what we would always joke about, because there were so many shows we had to do where there was a movie or there was a book we did not enjoy, but we're like, we have this hour and a half, let's still make it interesting, let's still make it informative. Despite the fact we didn't like it, we
Mhm.
still learn from it. Or like, what can we still take away?
Yes.
And I think that's what you don't you don't learn in hosting, is like you just have to do it. um and like, and that's where your personality comes out, where
Mhm.
even though the content might not be great, the personality still is.
Yeah. One of my favorite shows, like after shows that I did at AfterBuzz, was like there's one specific episode that was for Outlander. And I was like I joined a panel, but because people were dropping off, and then I was like, I showed up one week and I was the only one, but I was still like getting to know this show. Like I had
Uh,
seen it, but I had just started like doing the after show. So I was like, like the details, it takes a little time to get to know like the specifics on different things and remember
yes.
all these details. So I was like by myself for this episode. I'm like, well, okay, we're gonna do this. And I did the after show alone. So there's no one to talk to. I do
Oh.
like a little recap, and like it was just like, I'm like, y'all, I'm not exactly sure. This is what I think is happening. And then I broke it down. And then in the comments, somebody was like, that was a bowl of noodles. And in the next episode, I was like, sir, you are absolutely correct. Here's the reality of what it was. But I
Hmm.
rolled with it, but I'm more prepared this week. And I was like, I love it so much because like it was a hot mess, but I learned.
Yeah.
And I learned like, I did that episode, the world didn't end. The
Hmm.
the sky didn't come crashing down on me. I wasn't like deleted off of the internet. It was fine. Like, okay, there's one episode, the 30 people saw it, and then I did better the next time. Like I thought it was delightful.
I think, like, and this is what we always joked about us as the producers. We're like, just do a show solo. See how you roll with it. See how you learn. See how, even talking to you by yourself, you learn all your own personal quirks. You're like, oh, I say this all the
Mhm.
time. Maybe I should switch things up. I've even done solo after shows by myself too. It is not easy. I don't wish anyone on it, but it is a great learning experience
Yeah, it's almost to the
if you
point where
really
it
want to
should be
build
part of the
yourself.
training.
Yeah,
Like
it
it
really should
should be
be.
part of it that like in the case you are by yourself. And now like I talk by myself all the time. I have no problem with it. I can make it happen. Like we could talk about absolutely anything, and I could be talking to myself and to people on the other side of the camera, and it would be no problem. That was like one of the first times that I was like, oh, well, okay. And then now I'm like, excellent. Let's do this. Let's talk to no one.
Yeah, but like you have that personality. I had to build up to that because I am more of a introverted person. I can talk to people. And I've said this to a million people. Like, I know, just say hi to me and I will have a nice conversation with you.
It's true.
It's also the thing is, like, you have that personality that can talk to anybody. That's why you're so likable. You're very well rounded too, where you can talk about so many different things. And that's also hard to find And I think that's what makes a great host, that can just pivot from conversation, from topic to topic to topic, whatever, and just keep the conversation going. I think that's hard to teach, but you naturally have that.
And it goes back to like what we were doing with On the Fly Filmmaking. It was just that is staying curious. That is like the key to hosting, to producing, to conversations, to relationship, is staying curious. Because like you can easily be mad at something, but then you got to think like, well, I mean, why was that? Why was that? And then how can we make that better? Or to like be curious about other people and what they're about.
Yeah.
So I don't know, whenever we first started talking, and like I was like, I want to know this girl's history. I want to know how she ended up here. I just want to know. Tell me everything.
Yeah, you were always fun to talk to. I mean, you still are, obviously, because when I started this show, I already had like a mental list of all the people I wanted to talk to, and you were one of them. I feel bad because I've been saying that to everyone, but like you seriously were. I was like, definitely Marielou, definitely this person, and I'm so glad you said yes, because we've been friends for a long time. But you're also awesome, so there's that. You know where this conversation is going. We started talking about television. What would you say is your favorite TV show? Like the one that maybe you've watched a million times, the ones that really stuck with you.
Favorite TV shows. Well, I would say at one point, as far as like rewatch value, was Sex in the City, because like I had that was like the one DVD box set that I had that I would just play for like familiarity. Now I go back and when I rewatch some of that now, it doesn't quite make sense. But like when you're like in your early 20s and you're like, this is what adult women do, it's like, whoa, cool. One day I'm gonna be a Samantha Jones. And then like some of it's true, but then like, if I watch it now, I'm like, oh my God, Carrie, you gotta stop. You just can't. I just can't with you and this whole thing. I just can't.
That's so funny. I literally had this conversation with someone else just recently, where I still, admittedly, have never seen a single episode of Sex in the City. And I know I'm at that age where now I could watch it and understand it and understand the references, and like really, because I've experienced life more, I feel like it would probably resonate with me now at this point in my life. Because when that came out, I mean, I was young. I was too young to watch it, but now I'm finally at the age where I could appreciate it. And someone called me a Cynthia. And I was
Oh,
like, is that good? I've never seen the show. I
it's all
genuinely
good.
don't know. I was like, is she a bitch?
No,
Like, tell
she's
me.
really nice.
Okay, good.
Yeah, but she's
I
like,
was
she
like, I
knows
can't
what
tell if
she
that's an
wants.
insult.
Yeah, Cynthia, that's like, even that's going by their like actor names. So Cynthia, are you sure it was Cynthia, or did they say some?
It,
Maybe, I don't know.
I
Cynthia,
guess, I mean, I
the
couldn't.
actress is Miranda, and like
Miranda,
I
yeah,
would pick that for
maybe.
you, because she's like very empowered. She knows what she wants. Like, so I wouldn't say
Miranda. It's Miranda.
yeah,
Yeah, played by
yeah,
Cynthia Nixon,
played
right?
by Cynthia. Yeah, and so
Yeah, that's it.
I would say that is a good thing.
Okay.
It's a good thing. I've also been called a Miranda.
Yeah, Miranda. Like
Yeah.
literally, I've never seen an episode. And I mean, it is on my queue. There's so
If
much
you miss it, it's
content
not
out
a
there.
big deal.
I know.
There's plenty of stuff. If you miss it, it was a moment in time, and
Yeah.
maybe that wasn't part of your cachet, your storyline.
All right. So what is it about that show? Did you watch it at a young age, or was that something?
It came into my life because the final season was while I was in college.
Okay.
And then I was like, okay, I was like watching replays of it. It would be playing before like I went to class. And then I like eventually caught up. And then so I think I associate that show along with, I believe, one of your favorites, Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Heck yes.
With that time, which was a really formative and exciting time for me. So both Buffy and Sex in the City, similar but different, but
Yeah.
they were on replays. It's like I feel like there's a lot of people who are similar age to me that they feel like that with How I Met Your Mother, and like
Great show.
I cannot stand How I Met Your Mother.
Oh, okay.
I
Yeah, no, that's
cannot
fair.
stand it. I cannot stand
Fair.
Ted. I cannot stand this will they won't they. Like, I'm just not a will they won't they fan in shows. If it can be like for a season, I think, but like when it's the whole show,
Mm.
and that's why I can't stand Carrie anymore.
Is it the unlikableness? I agree, because being such a big Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and of course, naturally an Allison Hannigan fan, I started watching How I Met Your Mother when that show started. And then it wasn't until like the fourth season it finally started getting recognition and Emmy nominations and stuff. I was like, I've been watching this from day one. But also when I rewatched that, not that long ago, I was like, Ted's kind of a hard guy to like. And the whole, like, he is the main guy telling the story, but like you're watching it for everybody else. Sorry, Ted, but
Yes.
that's the truth. Like the ensemble is actually better than the main character. So
I agree.
I definitely understand your hesitation when it comes to characters and that show. That was my problem with House. I could not get into House because I hated the actor's great, but I hated that character. I was like, he's so unlikable. He's such an asshole, and he knows he's an asshole. And I have to like watch him for 5 seasons or however many seasons that show was on. I couldn't get past season 1. So when you have those television shows where you're like, I know you're supposed to like the main guy, but when you don't, uh, it's hard to get through.
Yeah. But as far as like formative shows and Buffy, definitely formative, like seeing an empowered female who was also flawed, who also had emotions. It was really, really formative. Like seeing that character and following it for years, I was like, that definitely made some pathways in my brain.
Yeah. Oh, Buffy. I mean, she left an impressionable, big influence on my life. I mean, she's the reason why I started martial arts, and I still follow SMG to this day. I was in the same room with her once, and I literally I kind of clammed up. You know, when you have those moments, you're like, "Oh my god!" I couldn't talk because
Yeah.
Buffy was literally right in front of me. I was like, I don't know what to say. I literally don't. I had one of those moments, and I still regret it because I didn't realize I would shut down after reveling the ground that she walked on for years. I was like, I got to that point. I was like, I could say everything I wanted, but nothing
Yeah.
came out.
I saw her once in person too at an event. I used to be an event producer, and it was like a kids event. So she was there with her kids and her friend and their kid. And like, I was like helping the kid, with the activity. And like, I saw Sarah Michelle Gellar, and I was like,
Yeah.
do you know who your mom is? But,
Yeah.
like in my head that I'm just like with this kid, I'm like, do you realize the
Yeah.
genes that you have?
Oh my god. Yeah, no. And that was my one and only time I've been in the same vicinity as her. And we're out here in Hollywood, in Los Angeles. I was like, I still believe sometime in my life I will get another opportunity to like personally redeem myself. Somehow maybe we'll work together. I don't know. I still wishful manifesting thinking,
Yeah. Because
I
she's
was like,
out there
one
working
day.
again. She
Yeah,
was
she is.
in a movie recently that I thought she was fabulous in. Was it Do Revenge?
Oh,
Was
I
she
haven't
like the
seen it.
headmaster in that? I believe. That movie, you should watch it. It's
Is that the
definitely
Netflix show? Or
it's
Netflix movie?
yes, it's throwback 90s. It feels like a 90s high school movie, but it is
Nice.
modern because they have cell
Okay.
phones. It's fantastic.
Okay. Is
I was
that the
so
one with
surprised. I
Nighthawk?
was like, sure, whatever. Yeah, she's in it.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. I did see the trailer for that. No, I never got to it. But she's also in that Paramount Plus show, Wolfpack.
Oh, okay. I want to see that.
I think, yeah, which again, I have so many shows and movies on my queue. I am slowly getting to it.
What are you at
Um,
now? What are you watching now?
I'm
Yes.
currently binging Modern Family
Oh,
because
okay.
I've been sad and depressed lately. So I was like, I need something
It's a
happy.
good
And the
one.
show, like Modern Family, is so good. I was like,
Yeah.
yep, this is exactly what my soul needs right now. So
Yeah.
I'm working my way through that one.
Yeah, Modern Family was one that I really enjoyed, and I miss it. I think about it often. Like, man, there's nothing like Modern Family. Until recently, Abbott Elementary gives me the same feel good
Yeah.
vibes.
So good. Abbott is a great show too. I went to the Hollywood Foreign Press awards, and the whole cast was the table right next to me,
Wow.
and being The Parent Trap being my all-time favorite movie ever, and Lisa Ann Walters is sitting 10 feet away from me. I was like, "Oh my god, Chessie's in the house."
Yeah.
And she was a person because I kinda stalked her that night. At the after party, I went downstairs and I was just watching her. I was like, because she's talking, she's socializing with people, and there were puppies there too. They were trying to like, there's a whole puppy pen. People were trying to like adopt them, whatever. And so
Yeah.
she was playing with the puppies. I was like, all right, I don't blame you. After you're done with the puppies, I'm just gonna find that moment where you're not talking to anyone, you're by yourself, and I just gotta say hi. And I totally did, and I just, like, word vomited, like, in my nervous sense. I was like, "I love you. I love The Parent Trap. Oh my god." I don't even remember what I said, but she was so sweet, and, she was like, "Well, honey, let's take a photo." I was like, "Yes." So, yeah, I met Lisa Ann Walters too. So, yeah, Abbott Elementary, also great, and I'm glad that's another feel-good show too that I think the world just kinda needs right now.
Hmm. Yeah. And for like the show that I love, like at the moment for the past couple of years that I always recommend as a tonic for depression
Mm.
is Ted Lasso. I don't know if you've watched that one
Okay.
yet,
I haven't.
but my like because it's a sports show, right? And I was resistant to it for like the first couple years it was out, and like we had a screener for it because Will is in SAG, so he gets the screeners, and then like we just had it, and I was like, I don't know, it's a sports show. I'm not a sports ball girl. And
Mhm.
then we like watched it, and I was like, this is gonna cure you. This show is just gonna cure you. It's so heartwarming, and it really does approach like, trigger warning that do talk about depression and mental health a lot. It
That's good.
is like a good main storyline, but they deal with it in a really, really good way. That's not like for the sake of drama. It's very like honest and delightful. So I definitely suggest that to you. I made my sister watch it, and she was like, I don't know, because she was like feeling really, really down about, about life. And I was like, you got to
Mhm.
watch this. And now she's like, that's on repeat all the time.
Alright.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
it's
I've
wonderful.
I've heard so many good things about it, again, in my queue. Um, yeah, and that's a half-hour show?
Yeah.
Yes? Okay.
No, no,
So
sometimes they're longer than that. No, it's it's
okay.
it's Apple TV. So sometimes
Yeah, Apple TV.
it's like 40 minutes or an hour 15. Like, it's just as
Okay.
long as it needs to take to get the episode done.
Yeah, I'm kind of the person who I'm like, I'll just watch what I'm feeling for that day.
Mhm.
I mean, I do keep up with my regular shows that are like come out every week, but they're like a lot of times just being an emotional creative person, I'll just watch what I'm feeling that day. And I think that's why I have such a hard time getting to shows that have been
Mhm.
on my queue forever because I'm like, I'm not feeling this show right now
Mhm.
at this very particular moment. So yeah, I tend are you the same way or do you
Yeah,
just like
very much the same way.
okay.
Like I have to be in the mood for it. Like right
Hmm.
now I'm watching Rise of the Pink Ladies, which I love.
Oh, yeah.
That's a Paramount Plus
Paramount, yeah.
show, but
That's the
like
Grease
yes.
days. Yeah.
There was like one day I was like, "Ah, I don't feel like a cheery musical, right?" Or like there's other days where I'm like, I don't feel like depressive dramas, right? It
Yeah.
just really depends. And
Yeah.
that's okay. That's like the world we live in, is that we can choose to intake what is right for us at that time.
And I think that's the great thing because we are living in a golden era of television,
Mhm.
especially in the last like 10 years. There's so much TV content, good TV content out there. And with the help of all the streaming platforms, and now we're just, inundated with so many good things that like it's kind of an embarrassment of riches. Like, what do I want to watch now?
Yeah.
Because heck, even 20 years ago, we'd be like, all right, well, I guess I'll watch this because it's the only thing that's airing right now in television. But
Mhm.
now we can pick and choose whatever we're feeling.
Yeah. And then another thing that is like, if you start watching something and you don't like it, you can just stop.
You could turn it off and go to another one. I know
Amazing.
the beauty, the power. Yeah. Or moving into, because you and I are both filmmakers and content producers in that way, do you have a favorite movie? I think now that I know your television, what's your favorite movie?
My favorite movie is Back to the Future,
Okay.
and it's Back to the Future as a set, as
The whole
one
thing.
movie,
Yeah, all
all
three.
three as one movie. Even the third one is like, it's just like it puts the
Yeah.
button on the story,
That's the
but like,
Western one, right?
yeah, but like
I
one
think
and
I've
two
only seen the
together,
third one like maybe once.
that's all you need just to know like kind of how it wraps up. But two is like fabulous, but you can't understand two unless you saw one. So really like one and two
Right.
together as a pair, and then the third one just to like close out the story. My absolute favorite. And there's a couple reasons for this. Like when I was younger, I remember watching these specifically with my dad, and that meaning a lot to me. When I was in college, one of my first like little part-time jobs was at the Back to the Future ride at Universal Orlando.
Oh,
And I
nice.
just was like really into it. I was a member of the Institute of Future Technology. I took it very seriously.
What? Wait.
A ride
Okay.
attendant, but
What?
you know, like we had a costume, we could be in character, like as much or as little as we wanted. Like it was a fun job.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know this.
Yeah,
Wait.
it was a
Okay.
good time. So when I first
Okay.
like I tried to get hired at Universal, because there's just like the thing you did in Orlando was like
Right.
you could just go get a job at a theme park, and then so you go to this hiring thing, and then they're like, okay, you've got a bubbly personality, you're friendly, we're gonna assign you to be a ticket taker at the front of the park. And I made like an audible like, "Mm." And they're like,
You're like,
well, what
why?
do you want? And I was like,
Hmm.
can I work it Back to the Future? And they're like, yeah, okay. Like, whatever.
That's okay, first of all, that's amazing. I didn't know they had that particular position,
Hmm.
but I mean that's amazing because like all right, Back to the Future. I mean, obviously that's an 80s film. I wasn't alive when those movies came out, but I definitely
Hmm.
watched them. Robert Zemeckis, man, and I feel like that those if, I'm speaking about when I speak about them, really the only first two. Um those films, I remember my mind being blown the first time because I think that was the first time as a young kid really watching a movie that was like nonlinear, but
Hmm.
also understanding it.
Yeah.
Now that I've seen so many nonlinear stories, but like that movie was fun and kind of like messing with people's families, messing with timelines in a way that I actually understood it as like a young, I don't know, however how old I was, like 7, 8 year old kid. I was like, "Wait, what's happening? If he does this, it affects this," you know? And I'm like, and I think those 2 characters, Doc and Marty, they were so fun to watch together.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, Back to the Future. Great choice.
Yeah, it's a
We
classic
have
dynamic.
yeah, absolutely. And I assume that you've been on the ride here at Universal here, right?
Yeah, it's the
Or
same
you've
as the
seen the
one that was
DeLorean? Okay.
that is the same ride that was at Universal Orlando, was the
Okay.
3D DeLorean ride. So, you know, you check people in, they get in the car, they ride, try
Right.
not to vomit. And the thing is, like, I didn't love the ride because I get motion sickness, but I loved being
Okay.
near the cars.
You're like, but you're there.
Yeah, that's like the way I can enjoy it.
Yeah, I've only been to Orlando once.
Hmm.
I went to Disney, but I didn't go to the Universal Studios.
Hmm.
So my only exposure to that would be here in Hollywood.
Hmm. It's the same ride.
Yeah, I can't really compare like how different they are. Um,
Yeah, so it's now the Simpsons ride in both parks, and
okay,
it's the same building and the cars, like the mechanics, they just put new bodies on the car and a new movie on the screen.
got it.
Yeah.
I haven't been to on the Simpsons ride either, but I have been to the Simpsons. I got a big ass donut that you get with whatever character that was. I have experienced it, but just because I'm not you have motion sickness. I don't do well with flips.
Hmm.
When it comes to roller coasters, I am not that kind of a person. So I'm very hesitant when it comes to those kind of rides. So I did not go on it.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's fun.
Yeah.
You with your jobs, I mean, you've had so many, you used to
Oh,
work.
many jobs.
Yeah, I mean, you and I both. But when we were working at AfterBuzz together, I was always kind of jealous of you because you got to travel so much. I kind
Mhm.
of, I lived vicariously through you with your travels and everything. And because you like documenting, you're so good at documenting everywhere you went. Do you have a favorite place that you've traveled to?
Off the top of my head, New Orleans is one of my favorite cities in America because it feels like you're going to a different country. It's so
Okay.
unique. The food is unique. The culture is unique. The people are really great. The architecture is beautiful, and there's music everywhere. It's like not like anything else. It really is. Like, anytime I got assigned to go to New Orleans, I was like, yes, give me
Let's
extra
go.
days. Gonna go before and stay after.
That's awesome. I still haven't been. That's also on my list. But it seemed like such a vibrant city.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me I'm wrong because every time I see a photo or video, it's just like looks colorful. Um, and I see just people on the street in a good way. You know, they're just
Mm-hmm.
there, standing, playing music, enjoying the environment, and it
Mm-hmm.
seems like a very, very welcoming city.
Yes.
Whereas where you travel to new places, you're like, I don't know if I can be here. You tend to like have to feel the room a little bit, but I just everything I've seen from that city, it just seems like so fun.
Yeah, and like visually interesting in the sense that like not a lot of places in America feel like they have history. Like there might be a historical building here or there, but like you go to New Orleans, a lot of the architecture and like a lot of the houses are still like houses that have been there for over 100 years. Like I'm not
Hmm.
sure, like, but for a really long time. And it's architecture that's like only there. And it's like the same with the food. Like you could feel like that the food culture there is a long-standing tradition, and that people go to restaurants like to go eat a certain chef's food like they're rock stars.
Yeah.
And I love to eat.
Oh, do you? Yeah, that's
Yes.
good. Do you every time you've gone there, was it for work or have you actually gone there just to enjoy it?
I've been there for work, and I've been there. I mean, the first time I went was a school field trip in high school or middle school. And I've been there driving through from driving across the country. Like it's like a required stop for me. And I don't even go
Yeah.
there like to party. Like a lot of people think like New Orleans, like you're going there for Mardi Gras, you're going there to get wasted, you're going there to just like get into trouble and party, like, like it's like a Vegas thing. Like I don't
Yeah.
even do it for that. Like I don't even care about that. Like I'm there, I want to see the cemeteries. I want to eat some food. Like beignets are like a must get. I don't know if you know what a beignet is. It's like a
Yeah.
little pastry.
Just
The
delicious.
best.
The best.
So
Yeah,
good.
pastries and
Yeah. It's like covered in powdered
powdered
sugar.
sugar. Yep, powdered sugar and fried dough. The best.
Yeah.
So unhealthy, but so good. So
Hmm.
goddamn good. Um, yeah, that's awesome. What's your favorite thing to do when you're down there, other than just like, is it just eating or
Eat.
just see everything?
Eat and
Yeah.
explore.
Okay.
And like
Yeah.
those kind of go together hand in hand. So it's like to go eat. There's like, I always go to Cafe Du Monde to get some beignets and a coffee. Even if there's a line, like you just do it, like just it's worth it. Um,
Hmm.
and if you do ever go, like you can go and you can sit in the little restaurant, which is like okay, like it's a vibe. There's usually some music playing nearby, and it's in the French Quarter, which is the touristy area. But the thing is, like the touristy area is historic, so it's different. Like it's like I go to New York, I still want to see Times Square, right? Like I want to see the touristy
Right.
stuff, and I want to see the real stuff. Um, the but like so I have my stops that I have to go to, and then I try to find something else that I haven't had before. So like I always try to make sure I get like a jambalaya or a
Yes.
gumbo, and then I'll also try to find like something else. that
Yeah,
I've never had
someone
before.
told me if I ever went to New Orleans is try the gumbo.
Hmm.
And correct me if I'm wrong because I don't think I've ever had it. Is that spicy or maybe it's the
It
jambalaya
can
that's
be
spicy?
spicy. They can
Yeah.
both be spicy or not spicy. One is more of a stew, one
Yeah.
is like a rice dish, but they're
Hmm.
similar. Like they're similar in vibe.
Yeah. They've definitely had told me to eat jambalaya and gumbo. So like I love how you yeah brought that up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
one day, one sweet day, it's on my list.
yes.
Uh yeah, because of all your traveling and stuff. What is your favorite routine to relax?
Oh,
Do you
for
have like an
relaxing?
yeah, do you have something that like helps you wind down after all the traveling or just even when you're not traveling, just like done
Yeah.
with work? What's your favorite way to relax?
Oh my gosh. So I am actually I've started a new project that's called the Self-Care Nerd because I am a nerd about relaxation and self-care and like all like I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So I love a little massage, a little like either like self-massage or going to get a massage when I was traveling a lot. Anytime I could, like I would book a massage the day after I landed or like after like at least once a month. I still do a massage at least once a month. I think it is very important. I consider that part of my healthcare
Nice.
because like it's necessary to have that moment to you can't look at your phone, you can't look at anything, you can't watch a show, you just are face down in the dark and it's not up to you. You just
Yeah.
you just lay there. All you do is lay there. So it's meditative, it's therapeutic, and of course like good for the muscles, right? Because like sitting on the airplane the same as like sitting at the desk for too long, it's not good on our bodies.
Yeah.
So massage is great, but I also have a lot of massage tools at home. I have like every size squishy ball to lay on. I have so many squishy balls to lay on.
I don't have
And
any squishy balls. I need to invest in that.
yeah, you start if you just look for a tennis ball, right? Like start with
Okay.
that,
I don't
right?
even have a
That's
tennis ball. Gosh darn it.
but
I'm
that's easy. You can go
lacking.
get that easy.
I
Like,
know.
you know, it doesn't need to be specialty, right?
I do
Is
have
what I'm
a
saying.
hypervolt massage gun, which is
I mean,
fantastic.
that's
Yeah.
excellent. That is like the next level up from that. Like I've got my Theragun. I use that all the time.
Yep.
Yeah, but
So
it's
good.
sometimes you just need to lay on a ball. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You just need to
It's good
lay
for
on it.
that deep tissue fascia breaking down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I absolutely get that. Go back to the massage because I
Yeah.
used to do massages a lot, but mine weren't the relaxing
Uh-huh.
massages. Mine were the deep tissue chiropractic massage
Mhm.
where it was a Thai woman. She used to just like actually stand on my back and like
Yes.
break down. She would use her elbows and her thumbs, and it was a painful massage. But I'm like, I think maybe I've only had one relaxing massage.
Mhm.
Are you more the relaxing massage or the actual like no fix my body kind of massage? Because there are a lot of different types out there.
Mhm. When I was doing more physical labor, so like when I was traveling and I was doing event production, like so it was a lot of heavy lifting, a lot of like I'm either
Hmm.
standing all day or I'm sitting all day with like no variation. It was just like
Yeah,
either you do not sit down or you do not stand up. Those were like kind of like the
the
two
two
things.
extremes.
Yeah, because I remember like I had injured myself and I was doing physical therapy and like my physical therapist was like, "Do you stand a lot?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Do you also sit a lot?" I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "That's kind of it. Those are kind of like the options." He's like, "Yeah, but like
Yeah,
you're doing it like
a lot.
a lot." So at that point, I was really doing the like, "Please fix me because I need relief quicker," right? And
Hmm.
also sometimes like a painful massage is really like I enjoy it because it's making you focus on the pain and the now, right? Like when you're getting a deep tissue massage, like you need to breathe, you need to be present, you need to participate in this experience. Like you
Hmm.
have to be here. You're not like wandering off thinking about dinner. You're just like
Right. You're like, oh my god. Wait. Oh no, no, you're getting it.
yeah. And then
Yeah,
now
I mean,
typically it's like more relaxy because I have the time to do more of the self-maintenance at home.
yeah. Good for you, because I mean, you saw me during those days when I
Hmm.
was working on AfterBuzz TV and how stressed I was.
Yeah.
Um, Whenever I got my massage, my lady, because I've always had back issues for being a young person, like I've had it since my early 20s, and she gave me a hard time. And I always felt bad, but like I had a very, very stressful job. She said
Hmm.
I had the back of an 80-year-old. And I'm like, yeah, well, try doing my job.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, and like she confirmed just how bad my back was. That's
Hmm.
why I had to keep going back to her,
Hmm.
because I also have TMJ, so that like I have a lot of stiff neck problems.
Just we like to be like this.
Yeah, we're clenching, it's the stress, and then it all travels down, because everything's connected. So it
Hmm.
travels down the neck, goes into my shoulders, goes into my lower back, and then I used to be a runner too. I mean, I still run here and there, but like in my 20s I was a big runner. So I had a lot of back issues in the lower back, my TMJ for the upper back, and my running for my lower back. So I had a terrible back. And then, sitting doesn't help either. So like I was just like a slew of problems when it came. And so that's why I went to a massage therapist. But it adds up quick.
Hmm. It
It really
does. It
does.
does. And that's where there's ways to learn how to do some stuff at home for yourself, but like it has to be an always thing. It has to be kind of like a lifestyle decision, because like your work, the things that are part of your life that make you stress out, that is a lifestyle decision. So you have to like on purpose find ways to relax. Like, so back to your question, like another thing I would do to relax is to disappear at a Korean spa.
Ooh.
Like, and it's
All
like you don't
right.
even have to get a service there. Like it would be the one where like, you pay $20 so you can just be in there for the day, and like lock my phone in the locker, and I'm like, nobody, like off the grid, nobody knows where I'm at. Do not call me, do not
Yeah.
expect anything from me. I will be soaking in the tub with a bunch of strangers.
Okay. Because of my ignorance, I've never done a Korean spa. How, like, what's the difference between like maybe the environment, or just the
Mhm.
process of the Korean spa? Like, how different is it from your regular traditional kind of
What is a
massages?
spa to you?
Uh, have I ever been to a spa? I From what I've seen
Okay.
is that you go to this lush, lavish place, and you sit in a chair. They take care of your feet, your toes, like just everything. You have a towel wrapped around your head, and you're just like literally relaxing while people are like massaging your entire
Mhm.
body.
Okay.
Just like people doling on you, you know.
Okay. So that is like
That's
a
all I
version,
can
that is
imagine.
like an experience that you can have at a Korean spa. So you can book services. So like what you're talking about are like services like get your manicure, get your pedicure, get your
Hmm.
massage, get your hair stuff done. And like people are providing a service for you. You can do that. But like a way that I enjoy, especially like when I was Baroque, doing Korean spa, is like you find the ones that you can go. Some places you have to book a service in order to enter the spa, but some places like you can just buy like a day pass. And when you go to a Korean spa, typically you're always going to have kind of two areas. You've got the dry saunas or the clothed saunas, where you're going to have like a hot room, like there'll be like jade stones in the room or charcoal in the room, and they're like varying temperatures, or it might be like brick, and it'll various temperatures. So it's from like hot to like really hot to, oh my goodness, what are y'all doing in here? uh One of my
Which I
favorite
do
ones.
love.
Yeah, it's like
I love saunas.
fantastic. uh
Yeah.
so you'll have like those, and then like usually a cold room, so you can kind of go back and forth. And then there's also spaces to take a nap, if you just want to take a nap, or you want to watch TV, like you could just read a book, uh in the saunas, out of the saunas, like just like places for you to relax, but like no service is being done on you. Most of them also have like a restaurant, so you can eat while you're there. You get like yummy Korean food like while you're on site, and
Oh,
like
nice.
that's part of your experience. And then there's the wet areas, where you're going to have like a hot tub,
Steam.
a warm tub, the steam sauna, the like cedar sauna. Is that just like a dry sauna?
Mhm.
um sometimes an ice room and like different shower areas. So like if you go into that area, it's genders are split up because you are naked. Like underwear is not allowed, swimsuits not allowed. You are naked. Everybody is in what they were born in, which is nothing. And it's like really freeing. It's the first time I went, I was like I didn't know what to expect. I was like you, I was like, I've never done spa stuff. I've never done, like, I've had a massage, maybe like a little bit at that point, but like really not even a lot at that point. And my friends took me, and then we were all naked, like we're just naked to get, I'm like, oh, these are my friends' bodies. Okay. And then we go into the spa area, and there's everyone, and nobody is worried about you. Nobody cares. We're all just there to relax and exist. Like it really is like beautiful and eye-opening, and makes you really appreciate bodies. Like I really have an appreciation for other women and like the way women exist in real life, like not magazine covers, not on TV, like real life people. We all look different. We all got things. We all got to take a shower.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I like the concept of that. And because I think that'd be hard for a lot of people to really just literally strip down and be their raw natural selves, because we live in this kind of society where it's based on superficial looks and materialistic items and stuff. So I mean, that's got to be freeing, pun intended. That's exciting too. I mean, I'm not
Yeah.
sure. I mean, generally when like really don't have a problem with like stripping down, being naked, like cuz I find that freeing. When I come home, like the first thing I do is strip down to like nothing and be like, "All right, putting on like it," cuz I don't give two shits about clothes or anything like that. So, like if I didn't have to wear clothes, that'd be great. So like being naked in that way was like never really a qualm for me. But again, not everyone's like that, so I can see why people might not have the best time at a Korean spa.
Yeah, if they don't know what they're getting into. And then
No
like
one
if
like
you
properly warns you.
oh yeah, like it would be a shock, right? If you really are like,
Yeah,
oh no. Okay.
right.
So if you do get a service, the one that I do suggest is getting a scrub. So when I got like a scrub, I didn't know, again, the first time I had no idea what I was getting into. But I'm always game, right? So that's the thing, is like my friends know this about me. They're like, you just throw me into something and I'm gonna experience it. I'm just gonna
Like, all
experience
right.
it. So getting the scrub is, so you're naked, and you get called into the service area, and you lay down. They'll lay you down on like it's like a massage table, but it's like vinyl, right? So because
Okay.
they're throwing water on it, and you get scrubbed, and you like I make it, I describe it as one of two things. It's either like you feel like you're a baby in a bathtub, and like an adult is like cleaning you in the bathtub. You just kind of get flipped around, and they're just like getting to everything.
Okay.
And slash, or you're like a fish getting cleaned to be cooked, because they're like scrubbing all the scales off of you. You're like getting
Filleting you.
scrubbed head to toe. You are just like, it's new skin. You come out of there, you are literally a new person.
Oh wow.
It's
'Cause they just
fabulous,
take
but it's
out
like,
off all the
oh
dead
my
skin.
God. Yes. It's delightful and strange. And I think strange if you've never experienced something like that, which I had not. Like I've done like little sugar scrubs on myself, but they're in there, they're like
Getting
and you
there.
see like next to you on the tables all this like the dead skin just like everywhere, and
Ugh.
then you come out and you're like, I'm
Oh,
so
new
clean.
me.
Yeah, it's
That's
really
awesome.
fabulous. So if it's ever something that you want to try, I can guide you on your journey.
Okay, good. Because I might need someone. One day when I have because do you usually go by yourself or do you usually go with friends?
Both.
Is it
you
just
know Sometimes
however you're feeling?
yeah, if I'll go by myself, Will and I will go together, and so like part of the time we're together in the clothed area. Like we'll go through the little like the saunas and stuff like that, the heated rooms, and then we'll have our lunch, and then we will disappear into the separated areas, and then we like just pick a time, or like meet out at this time in 4 hours, see you later. And it's like you go and you expect to be there all day.
Oh, okay. Because usually I like to think when I try to experience new things, especially like new places, I like to generally have at least one other person that's like also experiencing with me. So I'm not quite by myself. Be like, what do we do? You know, you have someone else to like bounce ideas off of, so you can like figure it out together. Yeah, but that's awesome. Korean spot noted. One day I'll do it. I will hit you up when I do.
Yeah.
But you're big into skincare as well. I mean, and a lot of your content are product testing and everything that's like good for the skin. I like to think I learn a lot from you because I hate makeup. I hate the fact that our society like puts this unnecessary pressure on women to like doll themselves up and look attractive and whatnot. And like I barely wear makeup these days at all. When I go to work, there's no makeup. I think it's just like all the years of hosting at AfterBuzz TV, I had to, have my face on every single fucking day. And I was like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
So when I know on the days I don't have to be on camera, I was like, I don't fucking care. I'm behind a camera. No one cares what I look like. So I'm not big into that skin care makeup routine as much anymore. But I know you're big on skincare. Do you have like a good recommendation or your favorite way to, I don't know, remove all the makeup and like the best process for actually taking care of your skin? Because I really don't.
Yeah. So with the reason I like skincare so much is that when I take care of my skin, I don't have to wear as much makeup. And I've definitely gotten to a point in my life where like makeup for me is voluntary. Like I never feel like I have to. I'll wear it if I want to, even on camera, like because all my channels are my channels. Like they've seen my face. Like I will film first thing in the morning. I will film after the gym. I will film fully made up. I will film washing it off. Like it's whatever. Y'all know what I look like. So if I'm wearing makeup, it's just because I want to wear makeup. But like if you take care of your skin, like right now, like I don't have like my face doesn't have makeup on it. It's like blush, but I don't have like foundation and stuff like that. Like I have a little eyeshadow, like lip balm, it's like not
same
a lot, right? Because if you take care of your skin, then you don't have to do as much other stuff. So then like it's very easy to just put on a little mascara and a lip balm because that's it. That's all there is to it. So my favorite, I love devices. I love beauty devices. And my favorite thing right now is an LED mask, red light therapy. I've been using red light therapy. I got into it because of pain, knee pain. So I got like this belt. It's like a belt with lights on it that I would lay over my knees and use that, the therapeutic heat plus the light, and like just doing like research, like we don't have to get into it here, but if you look into it, like veterinarians are using red light therapy as with animals, physical therapists are using red light therapy to help, with the healing process. So that's how I ended up there. Right. So it really, like when I noticed like it was actually helping with my knees, I was like, okay, so let me dig even deeper. So then there's like LED masks. So like my birthday was in March and I like got myself like the expensive one that I've been eyeballing for a while. I was like, we're going to do this.
Do it.
And like, it's made a difference, and the way that we know, like the logic works for me, because if I go in the sun without sunblock, I'm going to get burnt. So we already know that light affects our skin and we know that light affects our cells. So if there is variations in the wavelengths of light, like so outside is like UV light, the red light therapy is a different part of the spectrum. It affects the cells, but in an activating way as opposed to a damaging way.
Yeah.
And like I have here, this is like these dark spots here were like really dark. Like if we, like I could see it in my videos, and like that's the thing with the skincare stuff and all of that is because I make so many videos. Like I have a track record. I
You
can
see
tell
the progression.
I can see when it got worse. I can see when it got better. I can see like whatever I need. I can like, I have footage to check that kind of stuff. So I can tell you that red light therapy definitely works. But my thing with any skincare or any wellness tools or supplements or lotions and potions, it all works and it all doesn't. Because if you're consistent with it, it's going to work. It's going to do something. If you are not consistent with it, like you can buy the most expensive stuff on the world, it's not going to work if you don't use it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't.
That's true.
And it just
And
doesn't.
everybody's skin is different, and we all react different because, a lot of products have different, chemicals in it that our body just reacts differently too.
Yeah.
And like I like to think I'm cheap in that way because I moisturize like almost every day, sometimes twice a day. And I think that's what helps with my youthful looking skin.
Makes a difference.
Because I do that on the regular, I feel like I don't have to wear a lot of makeup. And because my skin is already naturally healthy looking. Water definitely helps with that. Keep hydrated, everyone. I drink a lot of water.
Yeah.
Also I'm Filipino, so like traditionally, biologically, I have a lot of kidney issues. Just being Filipino.
Is that a thing? I didn't know that. I didn't know Filipinos have kidney historical.
Me personally, my biological father actually passed away from kidney failure. So my parents have definitely drilled into me, drink water, and like I'm drinking coffee, even though that's a dehydration. But I've been fairly good throughout my 20s and 30s. For like all the amount of coffee I drink, I try to drink the same amount of water also that day, just, balance. So I do drink a lot of water too, which I think also naturally helps with my skin and why I still look young. Yeah, my moisturizer is like, it's a simple vitamin E moisturizer. Like, and I really don't have to like change anything of that. And like, seriously, it's like $5 at CVS.
Yeah.
I'm not an over the top kind of person. I'm just like bare minimum. It works, and I'm good with that.
Right. And the thing with anything, you can be as complex or as simple as you want. Right. Like Marissa's skincare routine works for her because she'll actually do it. Right. Like, but if I was like handed her my list of things, she's not going to do it because it's too much. But like, I'll do it because I love it. Like, she's got all these like Funko dolls in the background. I ain't never spending money on a Funko doll. Like, that's not for me. But if I show you this shelf over here, it is just like every lotion in the world. I've got them. Every serum, every tool. Like, that's where my joy and it's a hobby for me. It's a collection for me. Just the same. But it's like you can do as much or as little. Life is choose your own adventure, y'all. I hope you realize that.
Yeah, and like what we choose to spend our money on, our hard-earned money on, is like our choice too. Because it's funny, you mentioned all my Funko dolls, but like honestly, these are like the only Funko dolls I own. Like you won't see them anywhere else in the apartment. So it is a handful, but like I totally get that. Like your passion is our skin routines, and like you love that skincare routines, and like I love books. There are a bunch of books too, like placed throughout, and I have books and movies and TV shows and posters. Like you can't see it on this end, but like that's where my passion is. And I like that. That's what makes us all different.
Yeah.
What got you into scare? Was that something that you just always loved, or something that like you needed to do at some point in your life? Or
no, my skin had always been pretty good, but I think I just the ritual of it, this is the same reason I got into makeup, and I never started like a YouTube channel, like a makeup YouTube channel, because it's not something that I necessarily like to share. I love it, but it's my time to just be with myself. And that, I think, is the important thing for me, because it's like you can multitask, like you can listen to stuff and like you could have something playing, but really like you're just you dealing with yourself and like taking time to love on yourself is important to me. So
Yeah.
that's where the skincare stuff is. And then I started thinking, like, learning about the science of it and like how different ingredients work and things like that. And that's just the nerd part of me that's like, really? Wow.
This is doing what
Wavelengths of
to my
light are
cells?
changing the cells and the collagen production, and like just digging a little bit deeper into those kind of things just because it's interesting.
Yeah.
Stay curious.
Yeah. I love that because it's that learning even deeper.
Mhm.
Because I mentioned it to someone else, like people will love the superficialness of things, but never, like, I should say never, but like very rarely will they ever actually go beyond that and
Mhm.
learn more behind it. And I feel like you and me are those kind of people. I feel like I see a lot of creatives always be like, this is how it works, but why does it work?
But why?
It's the why question, which I think
Yeah.
that's you and I, we both love that.
Mhm.
Um so, like, from what I took from that is, like, that's your Marielou time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. My Marissa time is reading.
Yeah.
So what is your favorite book? Do you have an ultimate favorite book that you love reading?
Hmm. From childhood, the one that I am most fond of from childhood was James and the Giant Peach. Just
Ooh,
like
Roald
that
Dahl.
story of like just needing to get away,
Mhm.
like because it's like his life as it was like really dark and sad, and he just like adventure just took him away. Like, so that one really formative to me. But as a lifelong learner, like tons of fiction books, tons of biographies, tons of like science books. But the one that is the most impactful is The Artist Way, even though I've never finished it.
Oh,
But it is
but you're an
made the
artist.
most impact on me,
Okay.
because it teaches you a lot about accepting yourself as an artist and giving yourself permission to exist as a creative person. And it's like, it's rocked my world.
I remember when you first got that because we were still producing our On the
Mhm.
Fly filmmaking show together, and you were
Mhm.
telling me all about it.
Mhm.
Um, and like how it has like the daily kind of exercises for you to
Mhm.
do, like you write things out, or I mean,
Yeah.
I've never opened that book, so I really don't know what this entails. But being an artist,
Mhm.
and that totally makes sense that you didn't finish it because that's something that I feel with a lot of artists because we're we have a million and a half ideas we want to do, and we just want to do them all at once. That
Yeah.
like we have a hard time completing projects
Mhm.
because we already want to work on the next thing.
Yeah.
The Artist Way. Isn't there two books of those? Is there like
There's like a workbook that you
nine?
could get also,
Okay.
but you don't necessarily need the workbook. You could just get a journal. So the
Okay.
main exercise that like I've carried through my life. So look, whenever you saw me get that book, that's actually the second time I've gotten that book. I got
Oh,
it
okay.
in like college, like a acting teacher recommended it, and then like I remember going through it and like it leaving an impact. But a lot of it is, you'll look at it when you're ready to look at it, because it is a little therapy. It is a little bit like unpacking things that you may not be ready to face at that juncture in time. But when and that's the work of it, right? Like when it's time, you will face it.
Yeah.
And the morning pages are like, you get your journal and every morning you do 3 pages, free writing, free association, just write what's in your brain just to get it out. And you
Yeah.
will, I swear, like when I'm on a journaling stint, I will solve the world's problems. But then I get distracted and I do something else. Another
Mhm.
big thing that's with it that has stayed with me forever is the artist date. So while you're going through the workbook, like the assignment is to do once a week an artist date, meaning you as your entity, you take your artist, your inside, your inner child on a date, just you and your artist. Go to the museum, go walk around the park, go like whatever, because you think about your artist, if your artist is like your inner child, it's kind of
Yeah.
the same thing. Like when people deal with artists now, or even like our critics, right? Our inner critics is like, I can't do that. Like, that's stupid. Like, why would you be creative? You need to do something practical. You need to adult, right? You would
Yeah.
not talk to a child like that. And
It's true.
we do not need to be talking to ourselves like that. Yes, like you need to be responsible, you need to pay your taxes, you need to pay your bills, right? But that can also exist, and you can also nurture your artist. And it's not even like as an artist as a career necessarily. It's just like you as a creative person, that's something that you should nurture and love on. So yeah, I recommend it for everyone. Like if you say you're an artist or you don't, like you're an artist. Everybody is a creative.
I love that because as artists, we generally find that passion. A lot of times, I mean, people have found art later in their lives, but a lot of times, I think it's safe to say for both you and I, at a young age, we could tell that we were already creative. But
Mhm.
now, as an adult, we have to remember that young kid, that young creativeness, that spark and that passion. That now, being an adult, we are capable of giving that time and ability to that young kid that couldn't do it for themselves at that young
Mhm.
age, and we have
Yeah.
to actually allot that time. And I love that the
Mhm.
artist date
Yeah.
to really like get in touch with your inner self.
And that's where like you could go to the Korean spa for your artist date, and you go by yourself and you're the adult in the room
Mm,
that's going to guide the experience.
it's amazing.
Mhm.
Wow, I'm kind of
That's why
being
I like
mind blown just hearing that.
yeah, like I never have a problem doing so. I've done so much by myself, and I do so much with people. I
Yeah.
like that's where like traveling was always like really fun for me, because I'm like, I'm by myself.
Yeah.
What am I
Stop.
gonna do? I could do anything.
Right. It
Yeah.
is again with that freeingness, that
Mhm.
independence there. You don't have someone putting doubt into your mind. You're
Mhm.
like, if I go here and but someone's questioning you, like, but we can't go there. Like, but why not?
But why not?
I do love that. I've only traveled like by myself on a handful of times. I've been to Vancouver twice by myself. Fun, but I'd like to explore more things. Um, yeah, that's fascinating. Artist way. All right, fine. I'll put it in my queue. I'll get it. I'm an artist. I see it all the time at Barnes and Nobles. Every time I go there,
Yeah.
because somehow I wander into the artist section as one does,
Mhm.
and I see it all the freaking time. I just have never had the ability to pick it up
Yeah. And
because just
it's not time.
right, right, yeah, it's not time because I'm all over the place. I was like, I want to read this book at this point in my life.
Mhm.
I want to do this. It's just that being that artist, we have 1.5 million things on a list for us to get to. And
Yeah.
yeah,
And it's when you get the book, like it's I believe a 12-week kind of assignment, but I've never
mhm,
done it that way. I just like I'll do it as long as I can, and then I'll pick it up again later. And then just continue with the prompts, because it will make you think about things. And
okay.
it's hard, and it's healing, and it's delightful. But once you can integrate that stuff in, like I don't know, I'm never mean to my artist anymore.
That's good.
Like that's why we do what we do. That's why it's like my whole life is built around how can I be the most productive creative possible. And that's why you see me on the internet all the time.
All the time in a good way. I mean, because my thing is like, I think we said at the top of the show, all my artists and creativity comes out for other people's work.
Mm-hmm.
But very rarely is it for myself because I like to think I'm hard on myself when it comes to my own work. And I think that's another reason why I started the show because I don't have stuff for me. I needed to do this. I got to a point in my life, I was like, all right, Marissa, you're spiraling. You're getting to a really, really dark place emotionally, mentally. How do I stop this? How do I pivot? Like I was very self-aware of that. I was like, all right, you like creating things, you know how to podcast, but you've produced hundreds, if not thousands of after shows, thousands of episodes. Like you have all the tools. Why not fucking do it? So I
Mm-hmm.
did. And but I had to kickstart myself to that point. Because I am kind of tough on myself. I was like, why aren't you doing this? Who's stopping
Mm-hmm.
you? I can release these episodes whenever. So that's my self pressure
Yeah.
to create things. But unfortunately, sometimes I have to like get to a low point to create something to get myself to a higher point. you know? Do you have those? I mean, you're an artist. Do you have those like ins and outs of like, why am I even doing this?
Of course, like it's definitely much less now, because I've done the inner work and I've done therapy, which I suggest to anyone who has not yet done it. Write that down, Marissa.
I know, I need
Therapy.
it. I really do need it.
Yes, and it really will do a lot. If you know, and it might take some time to find like the right therapist. I think I went through 3, but I learned something different from all of them. And like they're lessons that I carry with me, and I'm like transformed. I just deal with myself differently. So like the critic stuff shows up, right? And the why are you doing this? But the key for me, when I was talking with I think it was like my first therapist, I was like, I can't be productive. Like I wake up and there's this voice that's just like, who do you think you are? Why are you doing this? This is stupid. Nobody cares. It was just like all the nasty, nasty things. And she's like, that's not your voice. And I was like, but it's in my head. She's like, no, if you can hear it, it's not you. And I was like, okay. So then she's like, let's assign a personality to this voice. And there, at the time, the world was going nuts, and there was some people who were always on the TV that I think everything that came out of their mouth was a lie. And I was like, oh, it's her.
Okay. Yeah.
So you can assign it to whoever you want, but it's like there's a specific person that like I have a visceral response whenever I would see them. They're not in the media anymore, but like, you know, like this could be in real life.
Yeah.
It's just whatever. It could be a fake person. You could make up a character. It could be a duck. It could be whatever you need it to be. But she's like, what if that voice like is like that's that person? So anytime this voice says something, you're like, no, Kaylee, this isn't.
Yeah.
This isn't
not you.
like,
yeah.
Everything you say is stupid. Shut up. And then I go on with my day. And it's like, after a couple years of practice with that, I don't have to like it's just not as loud anymore. Like those things, like they kind of roll out because I'm like, I hear it, so it's not real. That's not me. I know me. I know that I can do things. I know that like time and time again, I have picked myself up. I have been successful. I know that I put stuff out there and people like it. I know they put stuff out there and sometimes people don't like it, but like, whatever. I just keep going. That it's not
I
you.
love that.
Those negative voices, it's somebody else. Just give it a personality. Like, who is the person you hate the most? And every time you just know that they're wrong, that's who that voice is.
Yeah, I can immediately think of someone. No, I love that because like when you remove it from yourself and you give it space and association with someone else, that's healthy because it's not you, it's someone else. And I think that helps with the detachment of that. And because you can separate it, it's easier to get rid of it.
Yeah, and there's another book called The Untethered Soul.
Yes,
which is that same kind of concept of like, you are a witness of this experience. So these thoughts are translations of the experience. They're separate versions, they're interpretations of the experience, but that's not you necessarily, because you're just like watching this thing, watching it unfold. So if you can hear it, it's not you. Those nasty words, they're not you. But like the good stuff, like that could be you. That's fine.
Totally. I have read that book too. I recommend that to, I mean, it's been a minute since I've read it, but I recommend that to other people too, because years ago I was going through a tough time and I just like read all the self-help books I could, you know, because we have our moments as artists.
Yeah, and I think it's
deep,
like even
moments.
good when you're not dark to read it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good eye opener. I should reread it. Okay.
Yeah. Therapy.
Therapy. Look at this. Do you have a favorite piece of advice anyone has given you, or something that like has always stuck with you that you still like kind of live your life? A piece of advice or
well, like one of my favorites is like what we just covered from one of my therapists. Another nugget that I carry with me regularly from another therapist is walk outside every day for an hour.
Yeah.
She said basically that I'm like a plant and I need water and I need sunshine.
Yo.
So
I just got a plant yesterday. I literally, as I'm looking at it,
congratulations.
I know, because I have a very solitary apartment. I was like, I need some form of life in here other than myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I'm a big walker as well. All through the pandemic, gosh, because I got so bored. I was stuck at home. I ran and I walked well over 1,000 miles. And I had a Garmin fitness watch, so it tracked every mile, every step I did. And even now at work, I don't eat. This sounds terrible. I don't eat lunch during my lunch break. I actually go out and walk because I work in Beverly Hills. Fortunately, it's a really nice city to walk around, and it's easy to walk around. And it's safe too. I can walk outside and be comfortable. So I do that on the regular. Like, I'm a big walker, big hiker as well. You and I should go on a hike together.
Yeah.
Are you a hiker? I mean, because there are a difference between people who just like to walk, to feel good, to like meditative, take that like 20, 30 minutes just to remove yourself from whatever environment you're in. And then there are people who like hiking. I find I am both, but
we can hike, but if there's like a lot of incline, you'll just talk and I'm not going to because I won't be able to.
Yeah,
I can listen and go up a hill, but I cannot talk and go up a hill.
Yeah,
at this
you
point.
like, I need my oxygen. I need to breathe.
I was like,
Yeah,
I
I'm the
remember
same
going
way.
with a group and they were like, everybody's like chit-chatting, whatever. And I'm like, yeah, cool. It's just, you know, that's something that I'd love to work on. But, you know, like I do other exercises that help me get that energy out.
Yeah, because you and I were both also similar. We're similar in a lot of ways. Because I love working out too. I know you like working out. Do you have a favorite workout routine?
So right now I've been going to this gym called Training Mate, and it's a high impact interval training. So it's like circuits, and it's just so much fun. It's a Australian owned gym. They have a couple in LA, and some of the trainers are Australian, but like, you know, there's also American trainers and British trainers and, you know, different walks of life, but it's always fun. It's always lighthearted. It's like they push you but not break you.
Okay.
So
yeah,
like it's, you know, like, cause sometimes like there's like a concept of a trainer that's like harder, faster, you know, and it's like, no, this one is like, listen to your body. You're doing great. Look at you go. You know, it's like, it's wonderful. And I've been going now for a year. I think I just hit my year anniversary, and
congrats.
It's made all the difference for me. Like, I'm sure the same with you when you got into your Krav Maga, where like not having it and having it, it's like two different chapters.
Yep. Because I'm a HIIT trainer as well. I do a lot of cardio. So like when I go to the gym, I'm only there for like an hour, and people are like, "You're done already?" But I got like 3 hours worth in my short workout. In that way, I love that too, because Krav Maga, like my teachers, my instructors, they push you to that point where they break you. But the whole mentality is we have to break you down so we can rebuild you back up even stronger. And I feel like a lot of people aren't receptive to that.
Yeah, I wouldn't be.
It is not for the faint of heart, for sure. But I think that's me as a person. I've taken a lot of shit. I've been through a lot of shit in life. I know I know I look more gentle on the outside, but I like to think I'm actually pretty tough in that way. I am a slight masochist because I'm not great at self-motivation. Yeah, I definitely am. I'm very aware of that. I'm not great at self-motivation. So to have someone else motivate me to a point and to get me to a level that I know I personally could not get myself there, to the point of breaking, when someone else is doing that, I'm kind of okay with that. Not with the yelling. I'm not really great when people are yelling at me, but when people are pushing me to another place, I'm all for that.
Yeah, pushing
because
I can
that's
take.
where the challenge comes in. I'm all for the challenge.
Yeah. Like encouragement, challenge, you know, having other people that you work out with where you're like kind of growing together is really useful. But like, yeah, like I had tried in college because I wasn't sure what I was going to do. And my dad was in the Air Force. So I joined the Air Force ROTC just to see like maybe because I had friends who were in there and they loved it.
Okay.
I do not care for people telling me what to do. I was like the most defiant, like student. So like, you know, like it's military, right? So like when the teacher comes in, everyone's supposed to stand up. But because I wasn't officially in the program, I just was like taking a class to try it out. Everybody would stand up and salute. And I'm like, and like, I was just that person. Like, so they knew that. That's why I was like, I wasn't going to go anywhere. I loved learning about like the history of the Air Force and learning about the structure and things like that. But I did very much learn, and it's still true today, that I do not do well as a subordinate, which is why I am my own boss.
Yeah.
I will have collaborators. I can work in a team. I love working with teams. I love working with people, but I do not like to be a subordinate.
Interesting.
Some people are into that though.
Right. Like I'm totally, I think it's my thing. It's like my whole life, I've always had bosses. I've always had people above me. So it's something I'm just like conditioned with. I mean, I still have bosses right now. Like I'm okay with taking direction, but I'm also okay with giving direction too. But it's when it gets to a level of disrespect from my own peers, I won't have any of that.
No.
From authority, I never really had problem with authority. Were you always defiant, or was that just something that you kind of learned like, I don't like this?
It's, you know, it's not like, you know, I'm going up against the police. Like I was a good student. Like I wasn't like causing trouble just to cause trouble. So I wasn't like that kind of a rebel. But like if I'm doing something and I'm being left alone, I'm fine. But like I'm doing something and they're like, actually, you could do it this way. I'm like, you're wrong.
The micromanaging part.
You don't know what you're talking about. Like, it doesn't even matter. Micro, macro, like, I'm just like,
don't tell me.
I know what I'm doing. But that's like now, you know, that I've had years of experience and, you know, I'm running my own business because I got to a point where like I was applying for jobs. I was trying to get jobs. And I got turned down from enough of jobs telling me you're overqualified or you're
you and me
too
both.
confident or you're too much. And I was like, you know what? I'll take my too much and I will hire myself. And it's been like the best decision. Like, is everything like always great? Like I have to figure out my own insurance. I have to figure out like my own taxes. I have to figure out, you know, like I have to figure out so much, but like I enjoy that. I'm like, yes, I will take it. Cause now win or lose, it's all me. There's no one else to blame. And I can take accountability. I'm for it.
I love that. And that's a great quality to have when you're self-aware. Like, but you also know you're capable of that. A lot of people kind of find themselves in that position where they're not forced to learn all that by themselves, despite having not wanting to, you know. But I love that about you because I always got that sense from you, like, no, I don't have to worry about Marielou because she got this. She knows what she's doing.
Yeah, like we've been together in working situations, like, you know, where like together we had a boss, and like even then, like they'd be like, do it this way. And I'm like, we're not gonna do it.
No. And like there'd be times where we would have a sit down meeting, and then afterwards I'd be like, yeah, fuck whatever they said.
No.
We're like, because I guarantee you they're not listening to us. So even though they told us to do that way, I was like, because they're not paying attention to our show, I know that they could say that and we'll be like, yeah, sure, we'll do that. We know they're not going to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love that because you and I were like, no, we're just going to do our own thing because we know we're awesome.
Yeah. And that's where it's like I appreciated with you is that like we were on the same page about what was and wasn't good. And that's where I was like, yes, I can collaborate with Marisa because whenever we're like if we didn't agree, like I was like, okay, she's thought about it though. It's not like she's just throwing out something. She's thought about it. So
Right.
let's hear it out. Versus other people who like to throw out suggestions or notes. And I'm like, you don't know the whole story. So
Right.
your input is not, it's not right. It's not informed enough. But like, then there's people like you and I who are like, we know everything. And I'm going to, before I open my mouth and tell anybody anything, I've already thought of every way this could go.
Yeah.
And people don't understand that because they're just spitting things off.
Yeah. Well, but also you and I, we saw the bigger picture too. We know the ins and outs and the technical side of it, but also we had a bigger picture of like, what are we trying to say, or what do we want people to get out of this? And I think that's why working with you was so easy, because it didn't feel like work. You know, and I think that was the best part. That was my favorite part of our On the Fly filmmaking show, because it's like, it's just you and me doing our thing.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, we for the most part, we had that freedom to do our own thing. That was our show.
Yeah, I don't know if they like came in with notes after a point. They're just like, just leave them alone.
Yeah. And I think like, you know, well, also in fairness, because I had talked to the other guys and I told them everything that we were doing. And, you know, fortunately, you know, I had been there long enough that they're like, yeah, it's Marisa. Just, she knows what she's doing. Just let her do her thing. And then like that translated into their show. They're like, it's Marisa and Marielou. Let them do their thing.
And it was fabulous. If you still want to see any of those,
that's a great show.
The playlist is still out there.
Yeah. On the Fly Filmmaking podcast. Find it. Yeah, what years did we do that? That was like what, 2016, 2018?
Wow, yeah, I think so.
Like those years?
You're very good with dates. I'm like, the past.
It was like a solid 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know we did like over 50 interviews.
Yeah, we did a lot. I suck with numbers, again, artist, but I'm great with fixed dates.
Wow.
Like I could tell you a year something happened. If the number stays the same, totally fine. A year, whatever. If the value changes, nope. Not gonna know this pattern, whatever. So fixed years. Yeah, I want to say it was like 2016 to 2018, 2019, because that's when I left. Yeah. But great time. That was a great time. To kind of wrap us up, do you have a favorite strength about yourself that you like, or strength quality, something that you are very self-aware of yourself that you just love the most about you?
It's come up a couple times in the conversation already, but my favorite aspect of myself that served me the most is curiosity. That I'm always coming at experiences and people and like anything with curiosity. And, you know, sometimes it's like a quick judgment can sometimes happen, but like I will get to the point of like, okay, but why? Even if it's like my response is like positive or negative, I'm curious about that. Like, why was that positive? Why was that negative? Why are we doing things this way? Why aren't we doing it this way? Why are we thinking that it is definitely going to fail when it's like just the same as thinking it's going to succeed? Like those are just equally as probable.
Right.
Just like, why? I don't know. Why not? Why and why not?
It's that learning aspect that we have as creatives too, because we want to know everything. And I think us being forever students, you know, it's always learning. We're always open to learning from everything.
Yeah. And I'm not
what's out there. There's so much out there.
So much. And I'm not religious, and I'm not like particularly, you know, like I don't know what comes after death. But if there's some way that like I can envision what I want my brain cells to think or the spirit to go to, I hope that there's just like an infinite library in the afterlife that like just gets sent to, that has everything. I will just look up everything. I will look up what happened to JFK. I will look up what somebody was doing this Tuesday that I was like questioning what they were up to. Like I will look up everything. I will just sit there for the rest of eternity researching everything. Like I'm so glad to be alive in the time of the internet, because when I was a kid, I was just like, drop me off at the library. Like, you know, kids are going to the mall, they're going to movies. I'm like, just drop me off at the library by myself. See you in a couple hours. I'll be good. I'll have a
Yeah.
good time. And I would just like pick up books and just like, I'm like, oh, God, everything's amazing. What about this wild thing?
I'm the
Instead of,
exact way. I go to the library like literally every other day. I have 2 library books literally not 2 feet from me.
Mhm.
Yeah, because it's that infinite learning and learning everything about life. I love
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
And because this is my show, it's friends and favorites, and I like to feel good about myself every once in a while. What would you say is your favorite thing about me?
Oh my gosh, just that your acumen for like everything. Like I see it in you. Like, it's like you're attracted to in other people the things that kind of mirror back. And it's like some of the stuff that like I love about you is like I see in you the curiosity, I see in you the competence, I see in you the ability to just get thrown into the deep end. That's why like I haven't hired a lot of people, but I was like for the job where I was the media manager, I was like, I need to get Marisa. I need her on my team because I know I could hand her something and she'll just do it. And I don't have to like question it. I don't have to like look over shoulders. I'm just like, here's the thing. I don't care how you get from A to B as long as B is done.
Yeah.
And like, I don't even have to think about like, is this going to be acceptable? Is it not? Like, you just get it done. And I appreciate that about you. You're fabulous.
Aw, thank you, Marielou. Well, you know how much I love you, and I love talking to you. We need to. Well, the world is now open again because the last time we worked together, you were like literally the last gig I had when the world shut down,
Mm-hmm.
the pandemic. That working day was my last working day. And then I
Yeah.
was like, what do we do?
What do we
Um
do?
Now we don't have that excuse anymore, so we need to work together again in some fashion or just see each other other than Zoom.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know how much I love you. You're amazing. You were one of my favorite people at AfterBuzz too. So every time Marielou came in, I'd be like, oh, thank God. you know, and which was really nice because hundreds of people came in there, and I had my few selects. So like, oh, finally they're here. They're
What's
like
your
just
favorite thing
making
about
my day.
me?
Ah, everything. No, I love you. I love your personality. I think you had in that hosting personality that I didn't have on camera. And then watching you a lot, I was like, Mary Lou would do that. So I'm gonna emulate that when it comes to my hosting. And then when I was learning more about you, because you also liked creating content, I was like, but that's not how Mary Lou would do it. So I'll do it like Mary Lou. So like a lot of the ways, when it came to like short film content, that just a couple minutes or something, like Mary Lou would do it this way. I'd be like, what would Mary Lou do? I
Yeah.
kind of got to that point. And so I admire that creativeness, easy. You were just so easy to work with. Because again, didn't feel like work. It was just we were working together as friends, as partners, as creative producers.
Yeah, because life is too short. We
Fun.
don't need to be stressed out all the time. But Marissa
And
and
we
I, like,
don't.
we could love on each other all the time. But just so you guys know how similar we are, we have the same microphone.
We do. We
We
really
like
do.
see it. I was like, oh, that's the same microphone. We have the same microphone.
Different colors, but the exact same.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, that's
I
how
almost got the
awesome
silver
we
one,
are.
but I have the black one and the white one.
I
Why?
got the silver
I don't
one
know.
mostly because I was like, well, everything else I own is black. I was like,
Mhm.
black blends in with everything. I get it. But I only got the silver one mostly for aesthetic look. I was like, I like silver. Silver, my car is silver. I
Yeah.
like the silver look. It looks clean. It looks nice. It looks fancy.
Yeah. I like it. I like it a lot. Since usually I've been using this white one,
Ah,
which I like a
okay.
lot. Especially, it was the same thing. I got it for aesthetics, but she's been acting out, so
Ah,
got the classic,
but you
the,
have yours.
the classic black one for when I need it.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Mary Lou, for being on my show. Again, one of my favorite people. Where can everyone follow you?
You can find me all over the internet at Marielou Mandl. I've got a YouTube channel that's a library of content tutorials. On Instagram, you'll see me and my cats and my behind the scenes of being a content creator and an entrepreneur. And then I've got a new project, The Self-Care Nerd, which is a very baby project right now, but I'm very excited to explore that, talking about self-care products, experiences, destinations, and just being real nerdy about it, knowing way too much.
Mm-hmm. No, that's awesome. Or knowing everything.
Everything. I just want to
Yeah.
know everything.
Go follow her, ladies and gentlemen. I'm constantly learning from you too. So thank you, Marielou.
Thank you, Marissa.